It is time for another edition of the Fight HQ podcast. Of course, I am Jason Floyd. That is the fighter, Pete Rogers Jr. We're here to break down UFC Vegas 113. Goes down tomorrow inside the Meta Apex. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pete, how's it going, brother?
What's going on, Jason? Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for another fight card, and more different in 2026. It seems like this Vegas card is actually a card that I don't mind. Like that, these matchups are nice. We have some intriguing fighters. I don't mind it from top to bottom. And maybe it's because we had that drought of no MMA for a while, but I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, it's always great to watch, have a Saturday, watch fights. Of course, Super Bowl on Sunday. So if you're looking at this from a betting side, maybe you want to parlay something from Saturday into Sunday. Get you a little bit of a better prop lines for you there. Of course, we come in here following UFC 325 last week where, man, you had to have BSD.
Oof. My gosh, what the hell was 𝗍𝗲𝘁𝐻 doing?
You know what, man? I'll give Dan Hooker a little bit of credit. I mean, going for those submissions, but you gotta give BSD credit. Immediately just popping out of those, and yeah, there was. So I watched the fights after the fact, and when I was going back and watching the fight, and I'm sitting there going, "Damn, Herb, did you have fight makes round 3?"
I don't understand. I mean, you're giving the fighter every opportunity to stay in it because you don't want to stop it early, but I mean, that's not intelligently defending yourself, in my opinion. Just shelling up. What's he supposed to do? He's supposed to be looking to try to escape. He's looking to stay moving. He's looking to try to deal with being mounted, looking to shrimp out, get back to half guard. Worst case scenario, he bellies out and exposes his back, which is probably, it's pick your poison, right? For BSD, if you stay mounted, I'm going to elbow your face. You turn to your belly and expose your back, I'm going to rear naked choke you. But you have to stay moving. And I was not too fond of that stoppage. I mean, he was fully mounted for, I think it was almost 2 minutes, getting elbowed in the face.
I would say this, man, my lineup in the Fight HQ contest absolutely sucked. I finished dead last in the contest last week. Congratulations, Norfolk 888. He took down the contest, scoring 514 points. I mean, look, you think about it, the winner of the main event, Alexander Volkanovski, didn't get 100. I mentioned this on the podcast last week, and someone tagged me on Twitter. Man, if you had a Diego Lopez over a half a knockdown, you feel like you got screwed by the stat keepers.
What's funny is I didn't even watch the main event because I had both the kids and I was trying to get them both asleep, and it turned out I ended up passing out right before the main event went off. So I don't know even what happened, but based on the box scores and based on what I saw, it didn't seem to be the most exciting fight, but it was a very strategic and cerebral one from Alexander Volkanovski.
Very similar to the first fight. I thought we saw a little bit more of aggression out of Diego Lopez. His third round was by far his best round, where he clipped Volk, and they call it a slip. I think if you had an over half knockdown on Diego Lopez, you're probably thinking you got screwed by that one. But it's one of those fights where, for Diego Lopez, you just see that he's just like that. He's just slightly behind Volk, and now he's in a situation where he has got to be the biggest fan of Volk losing the title, because him getting a third fight with Volk right now seems just very unlikely in terms of that. Mauricio looked very good against 𝗲𝐲. Did not see that one coming. Of course, I think we could pretty much say he's no longer a fighting nerd. I think that seems to be pretty John Silva basically apparently has nothing good to say about him. Norfolk also had to share it in his lineup at 91 points. Never good. Was the third round of the fight. We got two heavyweights, hands on the hips. That's never a good look in terms of that.
So pissed. I had 100% Teixeira, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with awful submission skills. I mean, he wasn't able to pound out Tai Tuivasa. He wasn't able to look for an arm triangle, a rear naked choke, a Kimura, anything, an Americana. He wasn't doing anything other than being exhausted and showing that his 5 minutes of gas is a worry and a red flag going forward. But he had all the skills to make that fight easy, and he made it harder than it needed to be.
Of course, our DraftKings DraftKings contest is already live. A link for that is in the description of this show. Of course, you can also check out this show after the fact on the podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, of course, right here on YouTube. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up button. That's a great way to show your support, a free way to show your support here for the show. Of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Not only do you get the live videos here, also try to get a couple shorts up there from things that we talk about here in the show. Of course, also, there is a link to Pete's Patreon page. Pete, for people who are not aware of what you get on your Patreon page, let them know what they can expect from there.
It's just a nice sheet to look at when you're placing bets. Might have all the fights listed with the odds, the salaries, their records turned into career win percentage, the win difference between the two fighters. So who's winning 70% of their fights, who's winning 62%, with basically a 7% difference within that. The data projection for their DFS scores, the pace rating for what type of pace they fight at from high to low. Then the total fight pace, youth advantage, height advantage, strength of schedule within their last 5, and then all the traditional takedowns per 15 minutes, significant strikes, strike ratios, and strike differential, all on one sheet to make it just nice and easy, whether you agree with the data projection or not, or you like to use something else, a part of the sheet, to have some DFS and betting success. It's something that I even look at every single time, every single fight, just for me, just while I'm sitting there. Okay, how can I get an angle and have a profitable bet with plus EV? Should I be looking at these takedowns attempted per 15 minutes or per 25 minutes? Should I be looking at a knockdown based on their striking defense, and so on and so forth? So I appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody that's checked out my Patreon, and everybody that continues to listen to our Fight HQ podcast. Make sure that you guys like the video. Feel free to leave a comment below, a prediction below, any engagement. We really appreciate it, and excited to be back here this week with Jason.
Kudos. Woody already letting us know, of course, the weigh-ins going on right now in Las Vegas. 𝗮𝗲 has missed weight by 5 pounds. He weighed in at 141 pounds. Of course, we saw the WTF weight miss last week with 𝗮𝗲, initially weighing at 122 with the curtain, and then when they took the curtain away, he weighed 129. It's kind of a first thing that I've seen in terms of this sport as being around it as long as I have. Let's get in and break and win this down. The main event will be in the bantamweight division. Both fighters have already made weight. That's Mario Bautista taking on Vinicius Oliveira. Bautista comes in as a slight betting favorite, -160 plus 130 for Oliveira, who is priced at 7,400 DK, $15 on FanDuel, and for Mario Bautista, 800 on DK and $21 on FanDuel. Pete, let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, so I mean, this fight is very, very intriguing to me because I think that Vinicius Oliveira is extremely exciting for the division. He hits really hard. He's aggressive, and his aggression has really led to a ton of unexpected success. Because if you look on the regional scene, you see a guy that can get tired, a guy that can get knocked out, a guy that can get hurt, wobbled, and possibly broken on the mat. The longer the fight goes. But inside the UFC, he's been on an absolute heater. He brings in very, very heavy strikes and significant strength too. I mean, he's a massive human being for this division. I believe I was looking at a post saying that he walks around at like 165, 170 or something like that to make the bantamweight limit. Like that's crazy. And he's going to be going up against one of the most skilled fighters within the division, who is able to stifle offenses from his opponents. And Mario Bautista is very, very skilled in the striking department, in the clinch department, in the jiu-jitsu, and just controlling and slowing the fight down. We saw him do that to many people. Saw him threaten Nurmagomedov. We saw him, basically pin Jose Aldo against the cage. Exciting or not, he's able to go out there and nullify you and start to, edge you out round after round. I mean, he beat the hell out of Patchy Mix, and that was one where it was like, all right, well, Patchy, it was a rude awakening. Welcome to the UFC. So I think that Mario Bautista has shown to have a better gas tank, whereas Oliveira does start to get a little fatigued as the fight goes on. And how can you not be fatigued when you're pushing a tremendous takedown pace, I'm expecting both fighters to attempt takedowns, more so for Bautista to try to kill the momentum of Oliveira, which is what I have my fighters do a lot. If you're going up against a momentum-based fighter, we want to kill that momentum by clinching with you, pinning you against the cage, even for a moment, to now get back to square one, and now so that you can kind of be broken out of rhythm. And that's what I think, Bautista will be looking to do to try and tax Vinicius Oliveira. So as this fight starts to progress and reach the later stages, I think that Bautista should have a significant advantage. But early, Oliveira is very dangerous, and I can't get the knockout defeat from Mario Bautista to Trevin Jones out of my brain. Like that fight should not have gone that way. Bautista has shown to be one of the best fighters within the division. He's 16-3 overall. He's lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. The Trevin Jones in round 2 by, a very low-level fighter, capitalizing and hitting you with a big punch. Granted, that was back in 2021. Getting submitted by Corey Sandhagen in 2019, I can't hold that against him. I mean, that's a extremely difficult debut for Mario Bautista inside the UFC. But Bautista's learned, from that moment. He hits hard. He's skilled everywhere. Outside of getting chinned, I think that he should be the better minute winner in this fight. And I think over 25 minutes, it definitely favors him. In a 3-round fight, I think that Oliveira can be a little bit more reckless because he knows he can sustain 15 minutes. 25 minutes, I'm expecting it to be a little bit more measured. And if it's not, then Vinicius Oliveira's aggressiveness could be used against him. So how I would play this for DFS is that Bautista looking to implement takedowns, just to tax Oliveira, possibly submit him in the later rounds or TKO him in the later rounds, or just outwork him. The price tag at 8,800 for Bautista is fine. They could score a ton of points if it is at a decent pace. And according to the pace rating, it's going to be the second highest pace. So I like Bautista in the match. I just do worry about Vinicius Oliveira landing one shot that leads to Bautista crumpling and getting knocked out. So I would have split exposure here, but the pick for me has to be Mario Bautista. He looked damn good in the Umar Nurmagomedov fight. He looked damn good in the Patchy Mix fight. Even going back, Jose Aldo, Ricky Simon, Damon Blackshear, this guy's been here, and he's proven it against legitimate competition. Vinicius Oliveira is newer, and I have seen some holes that could have been patched, but I mean, his recklessness is going to get him in trouble one of these times. The size of Oliveira makes this interesting because maybe he's just too big, too strong, hits too hard, and Bautista crumples. So I will have split exposure, but the pick will be Bautista. I'm thinking, I'd probably go like maybe 75% of my lineups have somebody from this matchup, with about 40% of it being Bautista, maybe 45% for Bautista. I'm not sure if you agree with that or not, but the price tag of 7,400 Oliveira, if he does anything, even in a loss, if it's a 25-minute decision, he's probably going to sneak into a lot of lineups. But Bautista at 8,800 could just be pretty smart and get a later round finish or a lower volume tentative type of fight. So I'll pick Bautista to win the bout.
The 5-round nature is what gets me intrigued by Bautista. I do wonder with the 8,800 price tag, if he doesn't incorporate some takedowns into this, if this ends up being just a 25-minute kickboxing matchup, whether he can be optimal at 8,800 even with 5 rounds. I think you bring some great points about Vinicius. When I look at the betting side of the equation, that's where I'd probably put a little sprinkle on Vinicius wins by TKO KO, which is at plus 300. I think more times than not, Mario Bautista wins this fight via decision at plus 225. The pick for me is Mario Bautista. But the concern I do have is the same concern you have. He potentially gets caught. But then the concern I have on the other side is, does Vinicius have 25-minute cardio? I mean, we've seen him wear down later on in fights, and that's where my concern would be in terms of that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Mario Bautista, and but I think when you look at that price tag of 7,500 and below, Vinicius Oliveira may be the guy that I want to get to the most in terms of that price range. Next up, we'll be in the flyweight division. You got Amir Albazzi returning for his first fight since November of 24, taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. Horiguchi enters here as a minus 350 betting favorite, priced at 9,300 on DK, $22 on FanDuel. Albazzi, he's a plus 275 betting underdog, 6,900 on DraftKings and $9 on FanDuel, Pete.
Yeah, I love Kyoji Horiguchi. I mean, he's 35-5 overall, going up against Amir Albazzi, who's 17-2 overall. Horiguchi's done it all, man. I mean, he's had such a successful career. He needs to touch gold in the UFC to go down as one of the best lighter weight class fighters of all time. So priced at 9,300. I mean, he's already kind of in talks, right? I mean, he's 35-5. The kid's absolutely legit, but his previous performance, he beat the hell out of 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐳, and I would probably say that looked like championship caliber type of fight where he ended up scoring decently well for a guy that I thought as a flyweight was just going to be a point fighter. I was very, very impressed with the power, the wrestling skills offensively and defensively for Kyoji Horiguchi. And, for him to score 108 against 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐳, we've never seen 𝗃𝐢𝐬𝐳 struggle like that. I mean, that was really bad. 2 takedowns, 6 minutes of control time. All the work that Kyoji Horiguchi has been putting in is truly showing, and he's making strides within his game. And how could you not be making strides when you're at American Top Team? I mean, you guys hear it from us all the time that American Top Team is one of the best gyms, in the planet. And like Kyoji Horiguchi went there to develop, and he went to one of the best gyms on the planet to round out his ground game, get good rounds with everybody from, plus or minus at 35, at 45, at 25. That ATT is filled with talent. And it's hard not to get better when you're going up against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts all the time, a high-level wrestling room, and under the tutelage of great, great coaches. So for me to see Amir Albazzi coming in here since what'd you say, 2024? I mean, that's been quite some time. And he didn't look great in the Brandon Moreno fight. So I don't know what to expect from Amir Albazzi. I was looking at his socials, and I will tell you that he has been working his wrestling with 𝗲𝐸, who is a very notable social media MMA presence. Very, very good wrestling. And I expect Albazzi to look to get Horiguchi against the cage to implement some great takedowns. Albazzi's game is best when he's able to implement his wrestling. I think he's going to have a hard time navigating and tracking down Kyoji Horiguchi, because Horiguchi's just going to be on his bike, moving, pop-shotting him, defending takedowns when he needs to, and just being a little too much on the feet for him. I mean, Horiguchi looked like a significant favorite, like a future champion. And I had high hopes for Amir Albazzi, but his body has been his own worst enemy. He's had surgeries after surgeries, and whether he feels better or worse now, I'm not sure. Contemplating retirement, contemplating his, worrying about his well-being because his injuries were so significant. I think that Kyoji Horiguchi has him covered here, Jason. I really do. Albazzi didn't look good in the Moreno fight at all. And if that same Amir Albazzi shows up against Kyoji Horiguchi, we could be looking at another finish for a flyweight. But I'm expecting Albazzi to look a little bit better, look to pin Kyoji Horiguchi against the cage, try to get him on the mat to make this a closer fight. He may win one round, but it's really hard for me to see him winning 2 or 3 against Kyoji Horiguchi. So I like Horiguchi a lot. And I think that at 9,300, it's interesting because you're talking about a guy with good power for the division going up against a guy who's been a little brittle. So I'm expecting like a decision. And granted, this is back in 2016, but Horiguchi went up against Bogatinov and scored 92. I'm expecting like high 80s, low 90s for Horiguchi for DFS outside of like a finish. So I got Kyoji Horiguchi winning decisions at 9,300.
I got a little stat for you.
Okay.
You know the last time Kyoji Horiguchi lost a fight at flyweight?
At flyweight? I don't know.
2015.
It was. I just looked at it. Yeah.
All of his recent losses are at 135. And so I know there could be people that say, oh, he lost to Patchy Mix a couple years ago, and we seen what Patchy did in the UFC. Well, that was at 135 pounds. Kyoji's just a different guy at 125. You know, look, I think if you're looking to take a absolute punt shot, I don't mind Albazzi as a punt play this week. I do have concerns whether Horiguchi can pay off that price tag at 9,300, particularly if this is a 15-minute decision there. I mean, just give you an idea, if you look at the betting odds, Horiguchi wins via decision minus 105. I think that should kind of tell you a little bit there. From a betting side, I'll stay away from this fight. I just don't, you know, it's kind of a pass for me. I don't really see a lot of value in this one. I mean, if I was going to do anything, I'd probably put Horiguchi as a parlay piece. If I've built maybe a good 3-leg parlay and I want to add a fourth, and maybe I'm looking to get a bigger favorite, Horiguchi would be a guy there. But from a DFS perspective, because I mean, look, with Albazzi, he's had injury situations the past couple of years. So I mean, just a guy that was pretty much on the verge of a title shot. As I recall, initially it was a back injury that really kind of set him back a little bit. But yeah, I'll go with Horiguchi in this one. Next up, we got Jailton Almeida taking on Rizvan Kuniev. Kuniev ends here at a plus 130 betting underdog, price of 7,700 DK, $14 on FanDuel. Almeida priced at 8,500 on DK, $13 on FanDuel. He's a minus 160 betting favorite. I'll mention this coming in from Charles Ward. He goes, am I wrong for Almeida being part of my core plays? Feels like he should be well over 9K on DraftKings. Pete, what's your thoughts on that comment and also your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, I will tell you that the price tag was interesting. Given, you know, DraftKings scoring system, it really favors wrestlers and grapplers. And you know what Jailton Almeida is looking to do every single fight. He goes out there, he throws a front kick, and he shoots a takedown, and he tries to blast double people, and he will constantly go to the well. He will look to take everybody down, and he's had tremendous success doing so. Seeing the 8,500 price tag, I think, is more about maybe people losing faith given the 𝗏𝗏𝘁'𝑚 performance and given the quote-unquote loss to Alexander Volkov. But granted, like, against 𝗏𝗏𝘁'𝑚, who is a wrestler, a very talented wrestler, he took him down 9 times. That is insane. And guess what? The fight ended in the second round when Jailton Almeida was in a compromising position and ended up getting hammer-fisted and elbowed on a failed takedown. So that is my worry for every Jailton Almeida fight, is when he starts approaching a decent amount of takedowns and his opponents are making him work, and possibly looking to punch him and counter his wrestling and continuing to get back up. I don't know who can really deal with Almeida's wrestling within this division, truthfully. I mean, he took Alexander Volkov down 7 times with 11 minutes of control time. Alexander Volkov is a pretty damn good wrestler nowadays compared to what he was when he was just a kickboxer. Volkov's ground game has developed more in a jiu-jitsu stance, but his takedown defense, he's a big guy, and it doesn't matter. Almeida just gets close. He will look to get to your hips, and he's too explosive for this division. I mean, what he did to Sergey Spivak was very impressive. I mean, he bulldozed him. He took him down, had 2 minutes and 48 seconds of control time, and ended up TKOing him. And I do view Sergey Spivak as a guy with a tremendous ground game, with tremendous throws and good submissions as well. And it didn't matter. Rizvan Kuniev is a guy that just debuted against 𝗏𝗏𝘁'𝑚, and that was a very, very difficult fight to debut in. He only scored 21 fantasy points through 45 significant strikes. 𝗏𝗏𝘁'𝑚 was able to go out there and attempt takedown after takedown, and Kuniev was able to work back to the fence and didn't really get back to the fence in the most technical manner. I love making my guys at the gym work on getting back to their feet without exposing their backs. And a lot of times you'll see fighters in all the top promotions still bailing out, going to their bellies to get to their hands and knees to then stand up against the cage, which is very, very dangerous when you're going up against a jiu-jitsu practitioner like Jailton Almeida. Rizvan Kuniev was only taken down 2 times by Curtis Blaydes, but Curtis Blaydes did have 5 minutes of control time. And I will tell you, there are fights where Curtis Blaydes is just unwilling to go to the wrestling at that much. He did go to the wrestling with 15 takedown attempts, but he's a guy that, for whatever reason, never added jiu-jitsu to his game. He has great ground and pound, but if he can't put you in a compromising position to land the ground and pound, there are no submissions to worry about. So like Kuniev had a great idea of just like, this guy got no submission game. I'm just going to get up any way, any means necessary. If he does those same type of technical stand-ups, which it was not it was incorrect, I think that Jailton Almeida can look to backpack him, pound him out from the rear mount position, look for a rear naked choke, pass, and just have exceptional Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I think is a missing component, a part of Kuniev's game and a part of a lot of heavyweight MMA fighters, which is why I think that Almeida is like an anomaly. He just needs to get better at striking, because his striking to me is not good. And if this fight is upright, I think that he is live to get knocked out by Kuniev. And I think that he is live to, just like in the Curtis Blaydes fight, gas a little bit and then start to get touched up from a failed takedown attempt with elbows to the side of the head, hammer fists, uppercuts underneath. Almeida just, if he can't get takedowns going, he's shot. But the good thing is that he takes everybody down. So I don't see why this would be any different. Kuniev's a big guy, had a questionable decision making earlier on in his career, and I actually think that Kuniev could look to counter wrestle or counter grapple, which could be a mistake. Instead of a get away from me, like the floor is lava, I need to get back up. I think that he could look to reverse position and wrestle Almeida. I don't think that's a good idea. I think ultimately we will see some gaps within the skill set in the jiu-jitsu, and that's why I'm picking Almeida here at 8,500. But Kuniev is one of my favorite underdogs, because I've already seen what happens if Almeida cannot find a submission. Like, he was taking down Derek Lewis, and that fight had no business. That went 25 minutes, did it not? That fight should not have gone 25 minutes. I mean, like, he had 6 minutes, 6 takedowns, and 21 minutes of control time, and he was unable to find a finish because Derek Lewis is just a big human being. But he was unable to ground and pound him, and he was unable to submit him. So I still like Jailton Almeida here, but I would definitely consider Kuniev as one of my favorite underdogs on the slate because of the KO upside.
Here would be my counterpoint to you, Pete. 7 takedowns for Jailton Almeida against Alexander Volkov, nearly 11 minutes of control time, landed 27 total strikes. How the hell is that possible?
That's what I'm saying. I worry about that.
Then, if you go back to his matchup against Curtis Blaydes, which he lost there in the second round, he had 9 takedowns, 4 minutes and 39 seconds control time, 9 strikes. You remember the other week when I was talking about some heavyweights that maybe they just don't want to cut weight?
Yep.
I think Jailton Almeida is a guy that I think he'd be so much better at 205 than he is a heavyweight.
He's kind of like that Josh Hokett guy.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
I have the same concerns. Yeah.
And Boss Pro brings us Almeida's cardio. Yes, that is a clear concern when you're going for the amount of takedowns that he has. I mean, look, and Pete, you labeled out. He's tremendous in jiu-jitsu. But, it's a great point you brought up. It's like, as great as he is in jiu-jitsu, then we look at someone like a Curtis Blaydes who's got the wrestling, he's got the ground and pound, but it's just like he doesn't go to any jiu-jitsu classes.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I mean, with Blaydes, and I've talked about this before, there's times where I watch him fight, and it's like the neck is there. just take it, bro. Just take it. He's giving it to
Yeah.
you. And to the point that you see it now in his fights where guys are like, yeah, I'm just going to give you my neck because you ain't going to take it.
Right.
It's
And
just crazy at this level.
it is crazy. And what I will say is, like, the longer the fight goes and the more fatigued Jailton Almeida becomes, the more alive Kuniev is to finish him. But, like, we did just see Almeida go 15 minutes with Alexander Volkov, who I think has a deeper bag of strikes to look to find a TKO against a tired foe. And even in a loss, Almeida scored 61.6 fantasy points. So,
and Rizvan could be a very great live betting opportunity at the round one where Almeida gets a bunch of takedowns. You get a much better number than plus 130 at right now. But yeah, I'm with you. In terms of looking at some underdogs, I like Rizvan is definitely one of those next fighters. Next up, we got 𝐉𝐁𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 taking on Barriault. 𝐉𝐁𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 is a minus 475 betting favorite, price at 9,100 DK, $19 on FanDuel. Amrc-Andre Barriault, price at 7,100 DK, $11 on FanDuel. He is a plus 350 betting underdog. And Pete, I think the one thing you got to talk about is the difference in 𝗉𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 has been since making that move to Brazil in the Fighting Nerds.
yeah, I mean, I think that Michał 𝗉𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 is just a very skilled fighter, very aggressive, forward striker, looks to put pressure on you early, hit you with some really, really good volume, hurts you, looks to capitalize immediately. I mean, he's not a one-shot type of fighter. He's a volume, aggressive striker who is very, very relentless. Looking to get under the tutelage of a good camp that brings a different dynamic is important. I don't know if he's a part of if he's been at the Fighting Nerds, this camp or not. I mean, I was looking at the socials, and it did appear that he was not at the Fighting Nerds for this camp, but that doesn't mean that he didn't take the skills and the lessons with him. I mean, I think that he's just naturally leveled up, and his brother's damn good as well. So Cesario 𝗉𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 just sparring and working with him, wrestling with him and everything is awesome. I mean, you have somebody on your level, if not more. I mean, I think that Cesario is a unquestionable talent, and I think that can shape him into becoming a better version of himself as well. And Amrc-Andre Barriault is a guy that had a really good record coming into the UFC, but has not had great success in the UFC whatsoever. If you're comparing their careers, 𝗉𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿's win percentage is 70% and Barriault's is 62%. But if you look at Amrc-Andre Barriault, man, he's been hurt more and more. And the one fight that is an ultimate red flag to me is getting knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus. For me, that's a massive red flag, just because anybody can knock anybody out, right? Because it's a shot that you don't see coming, but that should not have happened. Dustin Stoltzfus is a wrestler. There's no reason in the world that he should be knocking out Amrc-Andre Barriault as bad as he did. Joe Pyfer put permanent damage on Amrc-Andre Barriault, but I think ultimately it comes down to the 𝗵𝗵𝐻𝐿 fight back in 2022. The guy's taken a ton of damage, and his chin does not seem like it used to be, where he was able to build. He was a builder. He would, as you slow down, I get going, and I kind of break you with my clinch. I pin you against the cage. I have great elbows, good dirty boxing, good pressure. I can wrestle, and I'm just going to make it ugly. But inside the UFC, I don't know if I can trust him anymore. He's taken so much damage. He looked to take down Shaur Magomedov, and he did take him down 2 times. Went 2 of 6 in the takedown department, and Shaur was unable to finish him. So it's not like Amrc-Andre Barriault's chin is gone no matter who he's facing. But if you land a clean shot, I think that you can get him out of there. So, I'm going Michał 𝗉𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿 here, and it's hard for me not to. I mean, minus 485 at 9,100. I know what Michał is going to do. He's like the Terminator. He's going to go forward. He's going to look to press you. Michal's looked really, really good of late, as we mentioned. Knocking out Cedric Dumas and Gerald Meerschaert, but prior to that, his other 3 fights, I mean, he was submitted. If you have any ground game, you should look to bring Oleksiejczuk down to the mat because he's a different fighter when you get him there. Look what Michel Pereira did by submitting him. Look what Kevin Holland did by submitting him. But, I mean, he hurt Kevin Holland and had Kevin Holland in massive trouble. So, I don't see how Michał Oleksiejczuk loses this fight unless he completely gasses trying to finish Amrc-Andre Barriault, which could happen in any fight, right? I mean, like having fight IQ and knowing when to have your foot on the gas and go to the brakes, and being composed. Composure is a big thing in the fight game, which is why you should be live betting every single fight. It's a Michał Oleksiejczuk play for me at 9,100. I don't have much interest in Barriault because I don't know if he can survive one round with Oleksiejczuk. If I knew he could survive one round, then it makes it a little bit more interesting because on round 2 and round 3, he will become more and more live.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at it from the betting side, with Oleksiejczuk that wins via 𝐃𝐬𝐬𝐜 round 1 plus 140 is a line that does stick out to me. And as I look at the 9K options, you know, there's another fighter we'll talk about in a little bit. It's 9,600 that a lot of people may be trying to get to, just because of, you know, where he's at his career, where his opponent's at his career. But the 9,100 Oleksiejczuk is a line that certainly does stick out to me in terms of this one, especially the fact of, you know, just don't have a lot of trust in the chin of Amrc-Andre Barriault at this point. But, I mean, Oleksiejczuk, I mean, look, if you're talking about building a parlay and you're trying to get crazy with your parlay, you know, he would be, if you're just going to take money line, like if you're sat there and say, you know what, I'm just going to do a straight up crazy parlay for very little money, I'm going to make a pick in every fight, Oleksiejczuk may want to be at the top of your ticket in terms of that one. Next up, we got Matsumoto taking on Farid Basharat. Farid minus 325 betting favorite, price at 9,000 DK, $19 on FanDuel. Matsumoto is 7,200 DK, $11 on FanDuel. And Pete, he is a plus 250 betting underdog.
Yeah, so this is an interesting fight, right? We got the Basharat brothers on the card, and I think that they're pretty skilled. Like really, really skilled. And I am excited for this matchup because I think that Gene Matsumoto is a very talented fighter as well. I was a little surprised to see how wide this fight was because to me this is like a little bit more than a pick'em. I think that Farid is the better brother of the two. I think that 𝗉𝐸𝐽 is good. He was exposed a little bit, not exposed, but he was knocked out by a very powerful right hand, whereas Farid has looked to have the sharper defensive skills, be a little bit more cerebral, and a little bit more of a grappler. And I do like the takedown outputs, 2 takedowns in his last fight, 4, 5, 2, and 3. Granted, it's against Gutierrez, Hugo, Lapalus, Rodriguez, and Blackshear, but even debuting against Damon Blackshear, I thought it was an impressive feat to go out there and pick up a win. Farid Basharat averages 3.6 takedowns per 15 minutes with 47% accuracy, which is about 7.6 takedowns attempted per fight. Gene Matsumoto coming off of a nice win over Miles Johns, who looked really, really good under the tutelage of Marathon MMA. And I think that Matsumoto has shown that he can implement good takedowns. He has very, very good Muay Thai. He has jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. But if you press him and you put the pace on him, I think that you can tax him over time slightly. And I also think that defensively you can take him down, which is what I'm thinking Farid Basharat's looking to do in this matchup. I mean, we saw John Matsumoto land 7 takedowns against Rob Font and lose based on damage, which was questionable, but he still scored 84 points in a loss, which is really, really interesting. I think that Farid Basharat is going to go out there and just be a little bit better in every department and be a step ahead. He has 5 inches in the height plus reach department, and I like his fight IQ a lot. And we did see Brad Katona take down John Matsumoto and have 3.5 minutes of control time, 3 of 8 takedowns landed. We did see Dan Argueta back in 2024 have 9 takedowns against John Matsumoto. Granted, he attempted 19, but he had 9 of 19 with 6 minutes of control time. That's a decent amount. And then even on the Contender Series, we had Kyoji Casey Tanner landed 2 of 6 takedowns with 3 minutes of control time. And anytime I'm seeing somebody get taken down and controlled for a decent amount, I like to think that Farid Basharat can go out there and implement a good cerebral striking matchup, blend and mix some takedowns in to solidify some rounds when it becomes too close, and look to stay behind him, look to pin him against the cage, and just kind of be the better minute winner of the two. So I'm not sure if I love the salary because I'm not expecting a finish. I thought that the line was going to be 8,200, 8,000, something like that. 8,300, 7,900, something like that. I was surprised with the salaries and the odds, but I think that Basharat is the play. He's the better Basharat brother, and I'm picking him to outwork Matsumoto over 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm with you in terms of that, and also like you, I'm pretty confident that I believe this thing goes 15 minutes. You look at the decision prop for Farid, minus 145. Really don't want to get there, but I do. He's kind of one of those guys. I do wonder if he might be a sneaky GPP play just because of the takedown upside. What's that?
Oh, did you watch the fights last week?
Mm-hmm.
Did you think my boy 𝗍𝗲 got screwed? Because I remember I said like he was exactly like you just said about Basharat, about being the sneaky play. I mean, he beat the shit out of 𝗃𝐻 in round 1, dropped him down. I don't know how they only registered 1 knockdown. So much damage in round 1, took his foot off the gas pedal in round 2. Round 3 was competitive, but then he landed 2 takedowns in a competitive round. It's kind of like the edge should have clearly have gone to him. I mean, I didn't hate the draw call, but there's no way I saw 2 rounds for 𝗃𝐻 there. I thought he got screwed.
Yeah, no, I'm with you in terms of that. I mean, look, I don't care, whether it's 2026, 2030, 2050. We'll talk about how bad judging is. I mean, it's not an easy job. Let me just say that. I'm not trying to act like this is an easy job, and there is, I think, when you are in that seat, it's a little bit of a different view than as opposed to us sitting at home. I always remember a fight that I recall is it was Mike Richmond versus Desmond Green. And there was a lot of outrage on Desmond Green got the decision win. And I scored it for Desmond Green. I said, guys, I'm cage side. I go, and I like Mike Richmond. I go, he's missing. These shots aren't connecting. It may look like they're connecting, but it's when you're there, sometimes it's a little bit different, but it's a very tough. But yeah, Farid, just because I wondered about the sneaky takedown upside in terms of this matchup and rounding up some points. That's kind of where I'm at with this one. Next up, we got Dustin 𝐃𝐽 taking on Julius Walker. Walker, price 7,500 DK, $12 on FanDuel. He is a plus 135 betting underdog. Dustin 𝐃𝐽, price at 8,700 DK, $18 on FanDuel, minus 165. One of 2 matchups on this card. We've got the UFC vet taking on someone who's very new to the UFC, Pete.
Massive UFC vet. I mean, not even just the UFC, just in martial arts in general. I mean, Dustin 𝐃𝐽 is a massive veteran, a guy that, has seen all sorts of matchups and styles come his way. He's priced at 8,700 as a minus 185 favorite against Julius Walker, who's plus 155, priced at 7,500. I mean, Julius Walker has looked good for how short and young his career is. I mean, he's 7-1 as a pro. Dustin 𝐃𝐽's 21-9. So, Dustin 𝐃𝐽 has more losses than Julius Walker has fights, and he has 21 victories. So, this is a situation where it's a significant opportunity to go from probably 30th in the world to outside the top 12 within the division. I would say Dustin 𝐃𝐽's probably 15 or something, right? Dustin 𝐃𝐽's good, and he's capable of spoiling a party or capitalizing and just completely outclassing you on the feet. I mean, these people forget how good Dustin 𝐃𝐽 is at range. I mean, he has excellent low kicks, awkwardness to him where he picks up his knees to get you biting on his fakes, and then he uses his excellent Muay Thai skills to land good strikes, and he has a piston of a right hand. I absolutely love his right hand. So for me, this is a situation where if this fight's on the feet, I think Julius Walker is screwed, truthfully. Obviously, Julius Walker is going to look to, attempt takedowns like his life depends on it, as he should. Because if he goes out there and thinks that he's going to outstrike Dustin Jacoby, good luck. I mean, outside of landing a shot and knocking him down, I mean, the only thing that's deteriorated from Jacoby's game is his durability. And we never really know how bad somebody's durability is until they lose a fight they shouldn't, right? This is a fight that Jacoby shouldn't lose, in my opinion. He's losing to a guy who's 7-1. I mean, when did Walker just came into the UFC in 2025 against Rafael 𝗂𝐃. No, against Alonzo Metafield, followed up against Rafael 𝗂𝐃. He didn't look good. I thought that, you should go out there and finish Rafael 𝗂𝐃 after going to a split decision with Alonzo Metafield. Yeah, to me, Walker is a takedown play. I will probably bet the fighter props because he averages 3.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, attempting 9.72 per 15 minutes. So he's going up against a guy in Dustin Jacoby who has a 62% takedown defense rating. But all the damage should be on Dustin Jacoby's side. So if he doesn't do anything with these takedowns or Jacoby gets back to his feet, he could be losing the rounds even though he's the one pushing the pace. So this is a way that I would bet this. Is I like to look at the Walker takedown props, and I like the Dustin Jacoby decision props, and I wouldn't mind putting a sprinkle on Jacoby to win via KO either, because on the feet, I think that they are in completely different leagues, and I like Jacoby's striking style, and I think the low kicks can be a problem for everybody, and especially if you are in your 9th professional fight. Even though you've had amateur career, what about Jacoby's kickboxing career? What about all this and that? I think that Dustin Jacoby's in a good spot here. 8,700 in an interesting salary spot, right? Because if it's a 15-minute decision, I'm not sure he pays it off. But we've seen him land that big right hand. We've seen him hurt people. He could knock down Julius Walker, force him to stand and trade with him, and then it's like, who was last week? Torres, Finney, and Malkoun, but to a higher degree, where Jacoby is just like completely one-way traffic. So yeah, I mean, Walker's a dog. Walker's going to go out there and try to make it ugly, as he should. But I have to go with the veteran here in Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah, I mean, look, we both know this. Dustin Jacoby is very used to guys looking to try to take him down. The one thing I've been trying to figure out, I haven't found the footage yet, is whether or not Dustin Jacoby actually went to Australia last week or not with Cody Brundage.
I think he cornered him.
Yeah, that would be a concern for me. You're talking about a 22-hour flight back to the U.S. That would be a little bit of concern with me. I know he was on episode 1 of Embedded, but I didn't know if that was maybe a situation that he was there earlier in the week, then left. That's just a slight concern for me. But yeah, I mean, I got to go with Dustin Jacoby in this one. Give me the veteran. Give me that striker and then is also very used to it in terms of that one. Next up will be the kickoff of the final matchup of the prelims. Marone, 𝗏𝗏𝘁, a 7-1 betting favorite here, priced at $9,600 on DK, $23 on FanDuel. Morono, priced at $6,600 on DK, $8 on FanDuel, a plus 500 betting underdog. And, Pete, my first thought is, does Marone survive a first round?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, Jason, my first thought was, what the hell are these odds? I mean, Morono, I get it. It's 2026. But, like, 𝗏𝗏𝘁's looked to be good, but a minus 675? Like, you put that price tag on Kyoji Horiguchi for how he looked in his previous fight against 𝗃𝗍𝗄 I get that. I mean, 𝗏𝗏𝘁's new to the game, or new to the UFC. He's looked like a one-way traffic buzzsaw. Morono's been a guy who has not had success of late at all. And I believe he's 1-4 in his past 5. Yeah, he is. The only fight that he won was against Court McGee, where he scored 46 fantasy points. How's that possible when you win that fight? That doesn't even make sense to me. And his durability is in question because of what Carlos Leal did to him. Outside of that, he lost a 3-round decision to Rodriguez, 3-round decision to Price. Don't like seeing that loss to Price at all. And then a 3-round decision to Joaquin Buckley. Yeah, I mean, I get it. 𝗏𝗏𝘁 should win this fight. 𝗏𝗏𝘁 should, trade leather, hurt Morono on the feet, take him down if he wants to, But be very, very, very careful about guillotines coming from Alex Morono. Very careful about the winging wild overhands and wild spinning back fists from Alex Morono. So, I mean, like, this isn't an easy fight, but this is a fight where in 2026, 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 should be the fresher guy, put hands on Morono, damage him enough to win some rounds, or get a finish early. I mean, 9,600, you need a finish, or you need multiple knockdowns. Morono's been knocked out multiple times now within his career. And honestly, Morono's a guy that really surprised me with his success in the UFC. Like, I thought that he was just a guy, and he's picked up some notable wins and hung around in the UFC, taking last-minute opportunities, tough matchups, and sometimes he cashes as an underdog, and sometimes he goes out there and he's too willing to trade for his own good, and I think that could be a mistake here against 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿. So, I mean, I like 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿, whether he's looking to just put hands on Alex Morono or look to take him down. I mean, even in that small sample size, 3.37 takedowns per 15 minutes, which means he's attempting 10 takedowns based on 33% takedown accuracy, going up against Morono, who's a little too willing to play jiu-jitsu off of his back with a 47% takedown defense rating. So if this gets stretched out, Jason, let's say it does go 15 minutes somehow, some way, you could see 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 rack up, 5 takedowns, and it really wouldn't surprise me. And a ton of top time, because Morono's going to be looking to have a funky guard, looking to guillotine him, looking to set up a triangle. He's a phenomenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but in MMA, I think being on your back is just a mistake. Be there for a little bit, look to set up some submissions. If you have no success, we need to get up immediately. I mean, if you're spending minutes on your back, then you are not working enough getting back to your feet. So I'm going 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 here, but I would be a liar if I said I wasn't surprised to see how wide these odds were. I was expecting 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 to be like 9,000, like a -300 favorite. Like, that's fine. 675. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. Look, where Morono it is at currently, it's tough for me even want to take a punt play on him. I mean, if this thing makes it out of the first round, maybe I'd do a very small live bet on him. Maybe he wears down the big favorite here, but yeah, 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 is definitely going to be the pick for me. Next off, you got Veretennikov taking on Price. Price at 7,300 DK, plus 240 betting underdog. Veretennikov at price at 8,900, a -300 betting favorite. This is a fight that just came together, I want to say Sunday or Monday. I mean, it's in the past couple of days.
Yeah, so this is another situation. I put Alex Morono and Niko Price literally in the same category of untrustworthiness in 2026. I mean, I think that they are just, they are veterans of the sport that are hanging around, and based on how exciting they make fights, they're able to stick around a little bit longer than they probably should at the elite promotion. I mean, I didn't know Niko Price was still a part of the UFC. I mean, he got absolutely run over by Jacoby Smith. I remember that. He got run over by Temba Gorimbo rather. He was in a slobber knocker against Alex Morono, scoring 115. But you know why? It's because he landed 5 takedowns in that fight. 108 significant strikes, 5 takedowns, 4.5 minutes of control time, which makes me even more confident in 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 in that Morono matchup, because I know that he has wrestling upside. So I will try to get to 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝐿 because from KO and takedown upside. Niko Price, on the other hand, like, he took Morono down, but outside of that, he's never had more than 2 takedowns in a fight, and the 2 takedowns in a fight came all the way back in 2018. So maybe it's more of an Alex Morono thing, being so willing to go to the mat, basically having no takedown defense, than it really is a Niko Price with tremendous wrestling skills. Because if I'm looking at Niko Price, let me see, where am I at? If I'm looking at Niko Price, his takedown defense sits at 50%. And Veretennikov is not a guy that I'm high on at all. I mean, like, I'm really not a Veretennikov guy because he seems like a lackluster, very lazy type of fighter who does possess some power in his hands, but he lost to Danny Barlow. He got taken down, had no jiu-jitsu skills at all to get back to his feet with no underhooks. Ended up getting KO TKO'd. Vanderford is not really a finisher in my eyes. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but I was expecting more of a 15-minute decision there. He did pick up an interesting win over Prado, getting 2 takedowns and having 56 significant strikes, so he scored 77. And then he just completely got out-wrestled against 𝗛𝗲𝘁 Soriano, which if I'm Coach Eric Nixick, I'm making 𝗛𝗲𝘁 Soriano wrestle 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov because he had no answer. I would expect Price to probably look to clinch 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov and be a little bit surprised that, that 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov is strong and Price's wrestling ain't all that good. Price has 0.98 takedowns landed per 15 minutes with 28% accuracy. Good God. Which is 3.5 attempted a fight. The way I see this is like it's 2026, Jason. I'm not a fan of 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov, but he had 3 fights in 2025, and I think that Nico Price, he had 1 fight in 2025 when he got absolutely smoked by Jacoby Smith. So I expect 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov to find a finish here. Truthfully, I really do. I think a big shot, but he needs to not get taken down. And if you're getting taken down and out wrestled by Nico Price, then like you probably should switch to kickboxing because like I think that I just don't view Price as the guy. Yeah, he took down Morono 5 times, but I told you I think that was an acceptance and just kind of maybe it was fatigue too. But 𝗉𝗏𝗀𝗀kov should be physical enough to keep this on the feet, and I think he's at a price tag at 8,900 where he could pay it off if he finds a finish.
Yeah, I just at this point for Nico Price, like I don't know how you trust him. Plain and simple. I have no idea how you would sit back and say, you know what? Yeah, I want to roster Nico Price. I just don't know how you do that. I mean, you talk about do not trust list. He's absolutely on the do not trust list for me when I think about him in this matchup. Next up, we got Bruno Brazil taking on Kaitlyn Souza. Souza is a minus 155 betting favorite, price at 8,400 DK, $17 on FanDuel. Bruno Brazil, price at 7,800 DK, $12 on FanDuel, and she's a plus 125 betting underdog beat.
Yeah, so this fight is very, very interesting for me because like I think that Bruno Brazil being a part of the Fighting Nerds naturally is going to make people want to place her in their lineups or bet her because they think that the trickle-down effect from the coaches, which it is true, right? Like how can I not say having good coaches and teammates is beneficial? I just don't know if Bruno Brazil is all that good. That's the problem that I have. I don't know if she ever really was. The issue is that women's MMA fighters to some degree are in pretty competitive fights. And I can see this one being competitive where it's like, do I really want my money attached to either Kaitlyn Souza or Bruno Brazil? And I don't necessarily think I do. I will side with Kaitlyn Souza to win this bout, but largely due to a little volume. And if I'm looking at the stats, Kaitlyn Souza, 4.56 significant strikes landed per minute in compared to Bruno Brazil's 2.66. So a little too selective for my liking. I'd rather somebody go out there and put volume than be too selective where they're waiting for the right shot because they're probably not going to find a KO blow in most women's MMA fights to begin with. So when I see Kaitlyn Souza attempting 8 strikes a minute and I see Bruno Brazil attempting 4.75, okay, I like the Kaitlyn Souza side. I look at the strike ratio, 1.03 for Kaitlyn Souza, 0.69 for Bruno Brazil, which is not good. It's not good. Neither one of them are really good, to be honest, but I like the activity from Kaitlyn Souza, and I do think that Bruno Brazil has, for whatever reason, looked to implement wrestling a little bit more. A part of her fights, 1.46 takedowns landed per 15 minutes with 64% takedown accuracy means she's attempting about 2 change per fight. But guess what? Kaitlyn Souza is attempting some as well. I mean, not having much success, 0.3 takedowns per 15 minutes, 0.14 takedown accuracy, which means she's attempting about 2 change as well. So I think if the wrestling can stay competitive, whether they take each other down or they kind of nullify each other, and this remains a kickboxing matchup, I think you're going to see a very selective but prettier strikes coming from Bruna Brazil, whereas Ketlen Souza is going to push a little bit more of a pace, put hands on her opposition, and I will pick Ketlen Souza to edge out a decision. I wasn't like blown away with either one of these fighters, but when I was watching Ketlen Souza fight Angela Hill, and then I was watching her fight Rodriguez, I was like, I don't mind this girl. Like I don't think that she's bad, and I also know that she has a ground game to her because she's the same fighter that beat Jasmine Hadagui. So I think that you just got to be careful wherever you take her. So if this is a kickboxing matchup, I'm going to go with the volume here. Not sure I love it for DFS. I'm kind of predicting like a 70-point win one way or another. But yeah, give me Ketlen Souza here.
Yeah, I don't mind from the betting side that plus 120 Souza wins via decision. That's one that definitely kind of sticks out to me. And also may not be a bad parlay piece, but you probably will be scared just because of, with a lot of things you mentioned there, especially with the volume of each fighter. Next up, we got a matchup. That is a replacement matchup. 𝗣𝗲𝘁𝐻 Basharat, of course, the brother of Farid, taking on Yianni Vasquez. Basharat does have a price tag on DraftKings at 8.3K. We don't have Vasquez a price yet there, and there was no betting line in terms of the book that I have in terms of this matchup, Pete.
Yeah, let me see if I have anything. I do have it. Let me see. So it's not available on DraftKings, but it's looking like Javid Basharat is essentially a minus 700 favorite, and Johnny Vasquez is a plus 500 dog. So let me put that in English. Javid Basharat is priced at 8,300, and he has the same odds as Danil Donchenko. Basharat needs to be a part of almost all of your lineups. A good way to get different would be to avoid it, but this is a situation where it's like minimum price in an NBA or an MLB lineup for DFS. It's good chalk. I mean, 8,300, he could still, like, he should be this. He should have these odds of minus 700 attached to him. He just still needs to go out there and perform DFS-wise. I think it's a pretty hard fight not to, right? I mean, he's fighting a guy that's competed. Johnny Vasquez has competed at 125 pounds. And to be honest, I don't even care about Gianni Vasquez right now because I believe in the Basharat brothers, and I believe in their training camp training with each other. I believe in Basharat's skills. I mean, both of them were known as two of the best prospects in the sport. He lost to Ricky Simon. He got knocked out in round 1. He lost a decision to Aiemann Zahabi. The no contest to Victor Henry, but before that, he's the same guy that beat Mateus Mendonça, Tony Gravely, Trevin Jones, and then on the Contender Series, he looked damn good as well. So, I mean, when you're looking at Javid Basharat, you're looking at a finisher, a guy that has 36% of his wins via TKO, 43% of his wins via submission. He's priced at 8,300. I'm putting him in every lineup, and if I lose because of putting that chalk in my lineup, then I lose. But I'm not going to overthink this. It's Basharat for the win. I think that he can go out there and finally get back into the win column. And in his previous wins, let's just call it what it is, right? Let's ignore the no contest and the 2 defeats. He scored 98 against Mendonça because he had 3 takedowns and 5 minutes of control time. He scored 83 against Tony Gravely with 2 takedowns and 3 minutes of control time. And then against Jones, he scored 65. If that 65 happens, we're very unlucky. But if the 83 or the 98, somewhere in the middle of that, we're going to be very, very happy that we have an 8,300 Basharat who's a minus 700 favorite. So give me Basharat and we can move on.
Yeah, and there's still no price tag out on Vasquez. So, but I mean, look, he's going to be super chalk. In GPPs and cash games, you just start your lineup with him and go from there because that's just be the way to go about that. Then you got Kong taking on Mora. Kong is a minus 350 betting favorite, 9,200 DK, $20 on FanDuel. Mora, 7,000 DK, $10 on FanDuel. She's a plus 275 betting favorite, Pete.
Yeah, so this is an interesting matchup because I think that 𝗲𝗲 is a very skilled wrestler and grappler for women's MMA. Um, so much that I thought that she could give Veronica Hardy problems. So much even more, I thought that she could give a retiring and 1 foot out the door Lauren Murphy problems. But I noticed that as the fights got extended, or when she was unable to get the fights in a dominant position, she struggled. I mean, in her debut against Ruiz, she scored 127 fantasy points because she took her down, 3 takedowns, 7 minutes of control time, and ended up with 3 takedowns and just pounding her out against 𝗲𝗏𝘁 Gomes, who's a very tough fighter. You did see her get taxed in that matchup, scoring 45 fantasy points, having 5 takedowns, and 7 minutes of control time. 𝗲𝗏𝘁 Gomes is a very powerful fighter, but one that is not going to really muscle you off of a lot of takedowns. She's primarily a striker. Veronica Hardy and Lauren Murphy seem to be like ones where physicality should have shown through. And 𝗲𝗲 is a fighter that struggled to make weight, so much so that she's had to move up and get bumped up in weight. And now I wonder if her physicality is lacking because of either poor weight cuts, poor weight management, or lack of strength for the division that she's competing in now, because she better hope that she gets her takedowns against Kong Wang, because I think that she's going to be in for a long night. I mean, Wang Kong goes out there and has hands for days. She is the same striker that has a win over Valentina Shevchenko. Granted, that was a while ago, but this is a fighter that the UFC was hoping will start to develop a good record, kind of to the Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, where this could be a future pairing, right? Like, and you see how it worked out for those two. Maybe if Kong Wang can go out here and start putting people's lights out or start winning in dominant fashion, we could see her skyrocketing and getting a little bit more push because Shevchenko has been so damn dominant. Yeah, so this is a situation where, like, I think that Kong Wang in her debut showed that she can crack people and knock them out quickly in round 1. We saw her get hurt and get rocked and then end up getting submitted by Gabriela Fernandez. So I think that Kong Wang is a little too trusting in her offensive striking, that defensively she's got no respect for anything that comes her way, which could be a problem going forward. I don't think it'll be a problem in this matchup when she's going up against a pure grappler. You saw what happened in the Brazil fight. I mean, 2 takedowns. You saw what happened in the Ariana Da Silva fight where she had 1 knockdown and had 143 significant strikes. That's kind of what I'm projecting for this matchup, where it's either going to be a good amount of volume for Kong Wang, or she will have an ultimate finish in round 2 or round 3 as 𝗲𝗲𝗁 gets, she's taxed and she's unable to get the fight to the mat. I saw Lauren Murphy and Veronica Hardy having success, and I think that Kong Wang is just on a different level than those two. And I think 𝗲𝗲𝗁 has looked and proven that she is somewhat of a gasser when she's unable to get her game going. So, yeah, I mean, like, Amora can take Kong Wang down and look to submit her. Great, like jiu-jitsu-wise. But I think most of the success that Gabriela Fernandez has was because of the power, too. I think with Mora, it's pretty, like, you don't respect what's coming your way. So I'm going to be picking Kong Wang to end up with a dominant decision or a late finish over 𝗲𝗲𝗁. But if you're a believer in Mora, she's an excellent value at 7,000. She just needs to get those takedowns going.
Yeah, that to me, when you talk about the Wang, that's always going to be my concern with her, is her ability to get taken down here. Some notes on weight misses here today. Vasquez missed weight by 5 pounds. Wang Kong missed weight by 1.5 pounds. Mora missed weight by 1.5 pounds, and Gafarov, who we mentioned earlier, missed weight by 5 pounds.
She missed weight again?
Yep.
Yeah, she's getting finished. She's got no heart, man. That's 3 weight misses now, if not 4 or 5. It's ridiculous. Like, so much she's had to bump up. So I need somebody to fact check me on that, or look into it, of how much 𝗲𝗲𝗁, how many times she's missed weight. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it makes me like Kong Wang even more. And Kong Wang said, guess what? I'm going to miss too. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And the big one for Gafarov, interesting.
And
That's a heavy miss.
yeah, and of course he's the next matchup which is the 𝐉𝐁𝐸𝐻 fight. He's the 𝐉𝐻 fighter, priced at 14 on FanDuel, minus 135 betting favorite. Jacob on the other side, $15 on FanDuel. He's a plus 110 betting underdog. Pete,
Just real quick, Eduardo Mora has missed weight 3 times in the UFC so far. Montserrat Caneo, Denise Gomes, and Kong Wang. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so this fight between Gafarov and Jakub Wiklacks is an interesting matchup because we have Gafarov clearly as the better striker, clearly as the better minute winner, clearly as a forgotten talent within this division, one that has been pretty damn surprising. When you look overall, he's 20-6. That's a lot of fights and tremendous success. I mean, his career win percentage sits at 76%, and you have Jakub Wiklacks as a 17-3 overall professional, most recently picking up a win over 𝗵𝐻𝗄. I mean, Jakub Wiklacks, 17-3 overall, 85% career win percentage. This is an interesting matchup because I do think that the better minute winner and the better overall striker is Muin Gafarov. I think that he hits with better technique. I think he has better combinations. And truthfully, I think the better wrestler of the two is Muin Gafarov. I think that could be a fault, though, where Muin Gafarov could be looking to, maybe just solidify a round or be a little too comfortable with, inside the clinch, or maybe he does go for a takedown attempt. He lands 1.47 takedowns per 15 minutes with 26% accuracy, meaning in most fights he's attempting 5.65 takedowns per 15 minutes. So, I mean, Jakub Wiklacks is like, please come over here and try to take me down because I got something for you. And what he's got is a phenomenal guillotine. And Jakub Wiklacks, his guillotine was so good that he had 3 submission attempts against 𝗵𝐻𝗄 that were really, really close. Ones where I had money on 𝗵𝐻𝗄, and I had 𝗵𝐻𝗄 a part of most of my lineups, and I could not believe the performance that 𝗵𝐻𝗄 has put on. One of the most disappointing signings of all time for the UFC. And Jakub Wiklacks almost guillotined him 3 different times. So much that 𝗵𝐻𝗄 had to, absolute last resort, if you train this, he bailed and had to roll through on the guillotine attempts. So I was really, really impressed. It wasn't like a loose, floppy, terrible guillotine attempt. Jakub Wiklacks has tremendous submission skills to him. He's 17-3 overall as a pro. On the feet, he throws some heavy shots. And guess why he throws some heavy shots? And as a coach, this is what I would say. Throw some really, really heavy shots to get some respect on the feet. If they look to take you down from those heavy shots that you threw, whether it's a kick or a punch, excellent. We want it there anyways. But most of the time what's going to happen is they're going to want to clinch. And when they look to clinch you, this is where we can be setting up our guillotine attempts, our takedowns, our trips, our back takes. So this is a tricky fight. I think like the skills, overall skills, he put all the skills out on the table. I think it's in Muin Gafarov's favor. The issue is when I go back and I'm watching tape, and I remember this because I bet on Said Nurmagomedov, big strikes. Muin Gafarov doesn't like what's coming his way. He looks to pin Said Nurmagomedov against the cage, and he gets ninja choked. So he gets guillotined in round 1. You go back and you look at the Kyung-Ho Kang fight. Good takedowns, some compromising positions, some good reversals. Ones where I think if the fight does get into that grappling situation, Jakub Wiklacks can capitalize. I hope this is not a situation where a guy in their UFC debut overperforms. We see that all time and time again. The overperforming debut where it's like, man, this guy looked incredible. And then the next time out, it's a humbling performance where you're like, that's deflating. I thought that this guy was so much better. But yeah, to see the compromising positions that 𝗵𝐻𝗄 was in was interesting. Yes, he has 5 takedowns. Yes, he was able to get a lot of top time, but I just didn't see that coming at all. And when I go back and I look at Gafarov's tape and I see Rinya Nakamura attempted a submission, but to no avail. Even on the Contender Series, you had Chad Anheliger knocking Muin-Gafurov down, looking to submit him. But that was a split decision fight because of all the takedowns. You have Kyung-Ho Kang with 3 takedowns over Muin-Gafurov. So there's a path for Wiklax to not only guillotine him, but put him in a compromising situation. I mean, Kyung-Ho Kang had 5 minutes of control time. So it's a close fight, right? It's a reason it's a pick 'em. But I can see this where it's, Gafurov's winning the fight and then gets a little lazy or a little too comfortable, and Wiklax just snatches up that neck and submits him some way. So I'm gonna say Wiklax via guillotine, but I'm obviously gonna have split exposure for DFS.
Yeah, and the weight miss, man, that's got a major concern. Makes you kind of wonder what happened there when you're talking about missing weight by 5 pounds. Is there an injury?
In Vegas.
Mistiming did you mistime some things? That's one of the things you just never know. Their opening matchup is a female matchup. We got Claudia taking on 𝗃𝗃𝗃 plus 125 betting underdog. Price is 7,600 DK, $13 on FanDuel. Claudia Sigua, price of 8,600 DK, $16 on FanDuel. Pete, she's a minus 155 betting favorite.
Yeah, bro. I mean, what are we doing with this fight? This fight is a pick'em. This fight, they both are not good. I mean, Claudia Segula, the only thing that I see is that she can be aggressive at times. When she's able to land her volume and clinch you, she can get on top of you, and she's pounded out people with good ground and pound. And she's a part of American Top Team. So you know that she's looking to improve her game. But I'm just not it's not like I'm got a stamp of approval of Claudia Segula. And like Priscilla Cachoeira has made a career of getting into firefights and losing a lot of them, but just being zombie girl and being a very, very tough fighter. But we did see that durability kind of evaporate most recently against Jocelyn Edwards. Her fight IQ is poor as well. Her submission skills are poor as well. But let me just say, right, like Claudia Segula is not some ranked talent. I think that Jocelyn Edwards is on the cusp if she isn't already ranked, just because I think that she has skills. Jasmine Jasudavicius, we know, ranked. Miranda Maverick, we know, ranked. And both of those fighters who have tremendous ground skills, good wrestling and good jiu-jitsu, were only able to submit her in round 3. So I don't know, outside of like a Jillian Robertson in round 1, if everybody just can take Priscilla Cachoeira down and sub her as easily as they think. I think that she's shown that she can crack on the feet. We know that. I mean, she knocked out Josiane Nunes with a beautiful, beautiful shot. She's got insane power, and power is not really a common theme, a part of women's MMA. And I'll tell you what, Jason, like this is more of a gut call than anything. Like if I'm going by the tape, I can just take the coward's way out and say, yeah, Segula's going to win the fight. But I know how unpredictable women's MMA is, and I'm seeing social media, and I'm going back and I'm looking, and Priscilla Cachoeira has been training solely with Amanda Nunes, Nina Nunes, and they have taken her under her wing. And I'm like, all right, well, how much is she like really training with them? Oh, no. She's like hanging out with them all the time. She's training all the time. Amanda Nunes is not just sitting and barking orders. Amanda Nunes is putting her through drills. She's putting her through takedown defense drills, working on single leg balance. So you know that they're looking to improve upon some technical deficiencies that Priscilla Cachoeira has. I mean, you're not going to completely change a fighter, but you definitely can look to improve. And I also think it's an interesting dynamic, too, because maybe Amanda Nunes has some inside information about Claudia Segula because of her former ties with American Top Team, right? And now this could be like big brain in theory, but like, Amanda Nunes would love nothing more than to get a win against American Top Team because of the Kayla Harrison situation. Because that ended a little negatively. Some people went with Amanda Nunes. Most of the mainstays stayed at American Top Team. So I don't think that this is a normal situation. And it's one where I'm believing on some X factors a little bit more than actual technical skills. I mean, Segula can take Priscilla Cachoeira down, pound her out, or look to submit her. But I think Cachoeira on the feet is a handful, and maybe she's learned a lot over these past couple months working with Amanda Nunes. So I don't have many dogs this week, Jason. I don't really love a lot. I mean, I can see some value in some of them, but like I'm going to be picking back-to-back dogs to kick off the card. And so 𝗑𝐲𝐿𝐴𝐶 at 8,000 and Priscilla Cachoeira at 7,600 are going to be my dogs of the week.
Cachoeira is always an underdog that if you know she can keep the fight on the feet, that she's got a good shot. I mean, but she is, when we talk about women's MMA getting, a little older, and but yeah, it's I don't mind the pick there.
She could look terrible too.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I keep looking and saying Kyoji's probably going to be the pick for me. Let's get our straight up fight picks where we answer those questions and get out of here for this episode. Main event, I will go Bautista.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bautista as well.
Give me Horiguchi.
Horiguchi?
I'm going underdog number 1, Kuniev.
Okay, I'm going to go Jailton Almeida.
Give me Oleksiejczuk.
Oleksiejczuk.
Basharat.
Basharat.
𝗃𝐃𝐬𝐬𝐵. Donchenko. Vertenikov. Souza. 𝗲𝗲𝘁𝗲.
Basharat. Lock it.
Wang Kong.
Wang Kong.
I'll go with Jacob.
Yep.
Number 2.
Flex. Yep.
I'll go Claudia, but man, I don't feel good at all.
Yeah, I just don't feel good about Claudia or Priscilla, and I'm going to go and lean into the value a little bit of Priscilla Cachoeira.
Sam, I appreciate you. Super chat, highest leverage play in each salary tier. So when I look in the 9K range, I feel like the leverage probably is either going to be on Wang Kong or on Farid Basharat.
Yeah, it's got to be Wang Kong to me because it's women's MMA.
I think when you look in the 8,000 range, I don't think he's going to be leveraged, but man, you talked about the highest ceiling, maybe Jailton Almeida.
Yeah, 100%.
Caitlin Souza is probably the leverage play. That's probably the easy leverage play in that one.
Yeah.
In the 7K range, there's some punt plays there. I think Kuniev will be popular. Oliveira will probably be popular. Maybe Julius Walker.
Yeah, not in love with the 7K range this week, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. In terms of that, go over to our Discord channel to get some things that have come in over there. We just kind of went over the best leverage plays there. Takedown upside. Obviously, Jailton Almeida is someone that's going to stick out to you a lot. I mentioned Farid Basharat as someone. More, I mean, that's her path.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Jailton Almeida, Julius Walker, Daniil Donchenko if it goes beyond one round, and then Eduardo Mora.
Ranking the 9K options. So we got Horiguchi at 9.3, Oleksiejczuk at 9.1, Donchenko at 9.6, Kong at 9.2. I would probably put Kong last in that equation. I would say 1, I would go Oleksiejczuk, 2 Basharat, 3 Horiguchi, then 4 Kong.
Yeah, I mean, I like Donchenko number 1, obviously. I like Oleksiejczuk 2. I like Kong Wang 3, Horiguchi 4. And then I like Basharat to win the fight. I just don't know for DFS, so I'll have him at 5.
Sam says his over-under finishes at 6.5.
Good number.
I'll say under.
How many fights we got?
13, right? Yeah, 13. 13.
I'm going to say over. A good number.
All right. Jason Pete special. First fight of the night. Man, I don't trust it for DFS. I mean, that's just straight up.
Maybe you lean into the no trust. You lean into the variance. You know?
I mean, if I'm rostering that fight, it's last fighter in.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean,
that's your exposure. Just smash it.
I mean, like, look, okay, think about this. I obviously much rather get to an 8,500 Jailton Almeida than an 8,600 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐵𝐝. 7,600 Priscilla Cachoeira. I'd rather get to 7,400 Vinicius Oliveira.
Yep.
7,500 Julius Walker. I mean, look.
Walker over her?
Dude, Cachoeira can get you 90 points. She can get you 2.
She's going to catch a beating. She might. But Cachoeira, like 70.
She's known to catch a beating. It's
yeah.
inside the octagon. Yeah, there's no doubt about it there. The 8,200, 8,000 fight, you kind of talked about liking the underdog in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a gut call, right? Like, I just think, like, the weight miss for Gafurov, it's like, all right, well, if it's strategic, I didn't think that Wicklax was going to be the guy to be landing the takedowns, even though he is the better jiu-jitsu practitioner anyway. So, to me, that's a red flag of what's up with Gafurov.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about from the takedown upside. In terms of that one, as always, we appreciate everyone who tunes in for every episode of Fight HQ. Of course, got the DraftKings contest live. That link to that is in the description of the show. Also in the description of the show is the link to get access to Pete's Patreon page, where you can get all the tools that Pete does offer. Great, you always get that email when Pete updates those tools, so you know exactly when it's been updated in there. And we will be no show next week, no UFC show next week.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's Valentine's Day. Oh, shit. That's right.
It is Valentine's Day, so I guess the UFC has a heart, apparently.
Well.
But of course, the next car will be coming up on February 21st in Houston, Texas. That is a car that's currently, well, I mean, you always got to say currently because you never know what's going to happen in this crazy sport. That's the Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez card coming up there February 21st. So we'll be back there that week to get you ready for that one. So that's going to do it for this episode of Fight HQ. As always, appreciate everyone tunes in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel and all that, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.